All right, what's going on, y'all? So this is a highly requested video. Today I'm going to be revealing my new favorite training split for building muscle. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you know over the last few weeks I've been talking about a new training split that I built out that I've been using that's been giving pretty incredible and pretty fast results, and a lot of you have been asking what that training split is. So today I'm going to be revealing exactly what that training split is, how many rest days do you actually need, and we're going to talk about a few other things. So if you guys have been following me for a while, you know that before ultramarathon training, before I was going through and doing, the 50K races, the 50-mile races, before all of that, and to where that was pretty much my sole focus, I was very focused on strength sports, particularly bodybuilding and power building. This goes back to my time in the fire department. I was really big into it when I was a firefighter, back to college days, and then it goes all the way back to when I was 14, 15 years old. I picked up my first, Flex magazine when I was like 14 years old, had Jay Cutler on that. That's when I started really getting into bodybuilding. I've tried just about every training split out there. I've got 8 or 9 of these composition books filled out over the last decade, showing all my sets, reps, the weight used for all of these training splits. I've tried, the typical 5-6 day bro split. I've tried, many different variations of push-pull leg split. I've tried upper lower splits, full body splits, and all of them have their own pros and cons. And I've actually talked about the pros and cons of each of those in my training split video. But I found that, particularly the bro split has some great things with it, but it lacks a lot when it comes to frequency. I found that, push-pull legs hits frequency perfect. So I was trying to figure out a way to essentially take the aspects I like of certain ones and minimize the downsides. And I've come up with a training split that, as of right now, is my new favorite training split. Might not be my favorite training split forever, but as of right now, this is my new favorite training split. So I'm going to be revealing that to you guys today. This is not for everybody. This is, more, I would say, intermediate to advanced split out there, especially if you do it in the way I'm doing, but if you guys are looking for, something to break through a plateau, or, have something that might be a little bit groundbreaking for you on building muscle, this could be the training split for you guys. So let's go ahead and talk about what that is. All right, so first, why did I feel the need to come up with my own training split rather than following, popular bro split or push-pull leg split, all of that? So just like I've tried all the different training splits out there, I've also tried many different training styles. I've done, the really high intensity, low volume stuff like Dorian Yates blood and guts training. I've tried, the high volume stuff of the old school bodybuilders and like what Jay Cutler likes. And I found what I particularly like, what I feel like gives me the best results, how I like to train, all of that. And I'm a volume guy. And particularly I'm a volume guy to where I like to go in the gym and demolish a body part, do high volume in that one day. Say I'm hitting chest, I like to go and hit 18 to 20 sets per that body part. With that being said, I don't feel like the typical bro split has enough frequency, like a push-pull leg split. Push-pull leg split is hitting the body part at least twice per week, assuming you're going in 5-6 times per week. With a bro split, if you're doing chest, back, shoulders, arms, legs, you're only hitting each body part once per week, especially if you put in the typical 1 to 2 rest days in there. So I wanted to go ahead and find a training split or build a training split that took the pros of both, to where I had high volume, going in demolishing the one body part with like what bro splits do, with the frequency of a push-pull leg split, while still, thinking of optimal recovery times. Because that's the problem. If you go in and you try to do, a bro split with the frequency of a push-pull leg split, you're really at risk of, overtraining, not recovering, all of that. So I was trying to think how to optimally do this. And I feel like I've come up with it. So I've essentially married push-pull legs and bro split together. And I've come up with a training split that I feel like is perfect for me, at least right now. And it's day 1 is chest. Day 2 is back. Day 3 is actually a 2-a-day. And that's shoulders in the morning and then arms in the evening. And then day 4 is legs. So it's a 4-day split. Now with the 2 days, if you guys have been following me for a while, you know that with ultramarathon training, I've been doing 2 days for a long time now. In particular, I've done, at least 2 runs a day, or I would do a run in a bodybuilding session, or even a CrossFit in a bodybuilding session a day. I've trained my body now for a while to do 2 days. In this 2-day, doing it in more of a bro split fashion, has been working out great. Now, the big kind of difference with this split, because that 4-day split's not, groundbreaker or anything, The big thing is I have no rest days built into this program. Now that's changed a little bit, but initially I had 0 rest days built into this program. Like going back to ultramarathon training, all of that, I've gotten used to essentially being really, really good at listening to my body, and not taking the typical 1 day off per week. So my plan was to just keep rolling with this, go 4 days and then 4 days. And so how that would work out is you're actually hitting everything more, or at least the same as what a typical push-pull leg split person would hit. And you're absolutely hitting everything more than a bro split, but you're hitting everything still with the intensity and volume of a bro split. So far this is working out great. Now what I found that instead of, just rocking through, not having any rest days, is the first 4 days, great, everything's, high intensity. The next 4 days is great, high intensity. But on that 8th day, that 8th leg day, I get back from the gym on that and I am absolutely demolished. I mean, I'm going straight to the couch, all of that, and that's when I do need a rest day. So right now what I've been doing is about every 9th day, my 9th day is a rest day, and now I'm actually putting that into my program. I track everything, and you've got a Google sheet that I track all of this. Now every 9th day I do have a rest day built in here. So in future videos, I'm going to talk about exactly how I train, how I like to do heavy CNS movements in the beginning and then move into isolation pump work at the end. I can talk about, my rest periods. I track how long I'm resting between certain movements, depending on what that movement is, the weight, all of that. I can talk about all of that in future videos, but that right now is my training split and how I'm going forward with it. Now, this has so far been pretty groundbreaking. I've seen, my weight's gone up, my appetite has increased, and that's a big way for me to tell that everything's kind of working out is my appetite. With ultramarathon training, CrossFit, bodybuilding, all of that, a big way I track if things are really going right and I'm putting good weight on, not just fat, but actually muscle and everything as I track my appetite. My appetite's gone through the roof. And I also have different theories on, 2 days and looking at, Arnold used to do 2 days pretty much every day. He would train, at least 5, 6, sometimes 7 times per week. Sometimes he would go into the gym 3 times per day. And so I've got different theories on what happens when you actually bodybuild twice per day. And I'll be releasing that out in future videos, but that's what I'm doing right now. So now I want to talk about the whole rest day thing. I get questions all the time on people saying, you're overtraining. Aren't you afraid that, you're losing muscle because you're not resting, all of that. Yes, rest days are extremely important, but this is where I tell people all the time, you have to listen to your body. Like I've said, I've gotten my body used to now, performing day after day after day without very many rest periods, and it's what works out for me. With that being said, I am also, through all the years of training, and especially ultramarathon training, I'm going to do a whole video on how ultramarathon training has made me better in strength sports. One thing it did is I got super in tune with my body on listening to my body. I know when I need a rest day compared to when I don't. I don't just go off of muscle soreness. Like I can tell on the central nervous system how that is, fatigued and all of that. I know what signs to listen to. The whole point is, you don't need to just go off of a cookie cutter plan or do what everybody else does. I put this out on my Instagram a few days ago that if you are just your whole life going to follow the crowd, do what the crowd does, you're going to probably end up with average results. If you're trying to get extraordinary results, then that's where it really comes down to you pushing yourself, finding out what's optimal for you. And that might mean you take fewer rest days. That actually might mean you take more rest days. If you go in and you do demolish a muscle like what Dorian Yates would do, you might need to take more rest days than, what everybody else says you should do. The whole point is here, you don't need to follow the crowd. You don't need to follow these cookie cutter plans, all of that. This is where, if you do know your body, you can listen to your body, all of that, you can go ahead and come up with these programs for yourself and experiment. That's what I do. I try to biohack all of this, from diet to training splits to training styles, all of that, and you'll find out what works best for you, because what works best for me might not be what works best for you. With that being said, if you are a beginner, definitely start out with, say a push-pull leg split. Find a good one online and follow that, and stick with that for 12 to 16 weeks, and you might want to change it up. But once you get the knowledge, you know what you're doing, you know, optimal rest periods, you know what CNS movements are and isolation movements, all of that, then that's when you can go ahead and start really building out your own programs themselves. The whole point is you don't need to just follow the crowd. You know, I think a lot of people want permission to kind of go out and do things on their own. And that's where I'm telling you, that's where I've seen the most success within myself, as I do things that, you know, is at least, you know, not found out there, or sometimes it's frowned upon. You know, like my fewer rest days. I'm only taking a rest day every 9th day rather than the typical one per week. But that's what's working the best for me. And it might not work best, you know, in say a month from now. I might get completely demolished in a month from now, but at least for right now, that's what's working out. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please go ahead and smash that like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already. Leave any comments or questions down below. I'm gonna be doing a Q&A here soon, so definitely go ahead and follow me on Instagram if you haven't already. And I'll be taking you guys' questions and doing a big Q&A here on YouTube. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. Be happy, be positive, be powerful, and have a great rest of your day.